Hi everyone, it's Steph here. This is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. This is the start of another reading vlog. I am filming this on the 30th of April. So this comes with the tail end illness, Steph, and I don't know how long the vlog is going to go for. So hopefully by the end of this vlog, I am looking and sounding a lot better than I am currently. We have 1 week until the Australian Ice Hockey League season starts here. Well, the men's season starts here, the women's season's just finished. And I'm in a hockey romance mood, except one, I don't really know what to read, and I was talking to Izzy from Happy For Now the other day, and I worked out that I have an unread hockey romance folder on my Kindle app, and there are 71 unread hockey romance books on my TBR. That's not even including the physical hockey romance books that I have. So in an effort to bring this number down, I am going to be doing a cross between a try a chapter / a read until I get a 5-star hockey romance book by randomly selecting numbers or randomly generating numbers and reading what is in this hockey romance folder. I don't know if that sounds more complicated than it is, but anyway, that's what I'm going with. So that means I am going to let the random number generator choose what it is that I'm reading. I am going to give it a red hot go. If I think it's going to be anything less than a 3-star, I'm going to DNF it. And if I think it has potential, I will keep reading it. And then we will see how I go until I get a 5-star read. My caveat is if it takes me forever to find a 5-star read, I do have Romantic Fuckboy as a review copy, as an e-arc sitting on my Kindle. And just for the fact that it is idiots falling in love, that alone is giving it 5 stars because it's Eden Finley and Saxon James and idiots falling in love. So that is my backup. I'm hoping that I don't have to use that because I just want to read that for the sake of reading it, not for the sake of finishing a vlog. But yeah, we are going to, we're going to give this a shot and see how I go. Choose a number between 1 and 71. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this, but the first number is 55. Vegas Vixen by Katie Kennyhertz. Okay, I clearly picked this up during a Stuff Your Kindle day. That's what I'm going to start with, and I will update you on how I go with it. Alright, so I am 10% of the way into Vegas Vixen. I'm probably not going to continue it. I can't see that this is even going to be 3. It might be like a 2.5 star read. It is essentially about Violet, who is a woman who has multiple jobs. She works as a mermaid at one of the casinos, she works as a dancer for one of the hockey teams, etc. Like, she's got a whole bunch of things going on. Kind of feels like Not Like Other Girls-ish, and just very frenetic, but not necessarily in the good way. And the main male character is Dash, who is an up-and-coming farm team player for Las Vegas, who is magically excellent on his first game that he's ever called up to, because of course he is. So yeah, no, I think we'll pass. And also there was a Harry Potter reference, which this book was published in 2021, which is a period where I would normally give grace to-ish, in terms of I wouldn't necessarily DNF the book if the book was okay, but I would mark it down a star, which would pull this down below a 3. So we are going to instead choose a new book to read. Choose a number between 1 and 71. Oh, 70. That'll be easy to find. It'll be the second last book, which is The Scoring Secret by Ainsley Booth. So that will be the next one that I try. This is one I have out on Kindle Unlimited. It's actually a fairly recent borrow on Kindle Unlimited. So in fact, it's the second book in my queue. I will give this one a shot and let you know how I go. This one lasted 2% because I don't like the way that the main male character, Ty, objectifies women in the first couple of pages. So we're calling that one quits. See, this is good. This is like speed dating with books, so that you work out what you want to read. So yes, I want a 5-star read, but I don't want to read through stuff that is not going to make me happy. Choose a number between 1 and 71. 30. Okay, let's get back to the top. 0 Pucks Given by Jessie York. Okay, for some reason, it doesn't want to open that book, so we're just going to skip it, because life is too short. Choose a number between 1 and 71. 38. So that was 30, 35, 67, 38. Ooh. Like Real People Do. This is by E.L. Masty. I think this is a young adult, but it's one I've been meaning to read for a while. So this one I'm excited about. I've heard good things about it. Okay, hi friends. I'm 13% of the way through Like Real People Do. I had to take a break. I had to go to the supermarket because they were talking about frozen yogurt, and then I really wanted frozen yogurt. And then I realized as I walked outside that it's actually quite warm, and I walked out in a hoodie. So now I'm hot and my sinuses are being a pain in the ass, so I've just taken something for that. But I am enjoying the book so far. It is about Alex, who is the youngest NHL captain in a recent expansion team, I believe. He is 19 and his love interest is Eli, who is a mixed race teen who's just starting college, and he is a former figure skater whose Olympic dreams sort of were ruined, and he now has a disability and a service dog, and is not a big fan of sports people, but accidentally ends up going on a lunch date with Alex after meeting him at the ice rink. And so far it's really cute because I think this is going to be a friends to lovers story. But it's really interesting because there is another perspective, which is one of the other players on Alex's team, who is, I think his name is Cooper, and he's only 23, but he's kind of the father figure, the older mentor figure who's sort of taken Alex under his wing, even though Alex is the captain, which I think is a really interesting dynamic. I mean, I totally don't believe that this would happen in the NHL at all, but you know, at the same time, it's a cute story. So I don't think it's going to be a 5-star read, but I am enjoying it a lot at the moment. So I'm going to eat some frozen yogurt and keep reading. All right, so I finished Like Real People Do, and I did really enjoy it. It's a 4-star book. It also had a Harry Potter reference. Granted, this one was extremely mild, but did prompt an Instagram story because I'm just, can we not? Can we not? But I mean, that said, that aside, the story was pretty good. I think it was probably a fraction long for what it was. So you have our two characters, so it is young adult. They are sort of navigating their relationship, and you know, whether or not Alex is able to come out, because he spent his entire life thinking that he wouldn't be accepted. There is a side plot with a player on his team who is initially making some homophobic comments and then gets called out, like actively called out in the locker room, and all of the rest of the team are very supportive and very inclusive and wanting to make the locker room a safe space. And then Matt, who is the character who made the comments, eventually gets pulled into working with Eli during sort of a philanthropy event and is sort of reevaluating where he's going. But even that sort of didn't get the same level of development. And there is a second story for Alex and Eli, which I don't know if I'm going to read, but if I do, I'm hoping that I would see something to do with that arc. Anyway, I think the one thing I struggled with was the teenage NHL captain. I mean, I don't know if that's ever been a thing. I don't think it has. I'm not going to do research into it, but that just sort of was constantly in the back of my head, because we're talking about kids reacting. I mean, they're teenagers, but they're kids. Like, that's kid to me. I'm old. Like, it was interesting. I mean, there were some great side characters. Coop and Kuzi and Rushy, like, they were great side characters. I really enjoyed them. And I think, and like the representation in the book, so Alex has anxiety and panic attacks, which are both on page. He's also done a whole lot of stuff that's gotten him into trouble in the past, including driving under the influence, which is a huge thing for Eli because Eli was in a car accident instigated by a drunk driver. You know, there's a conversation where he's basically like, promise me that you do not do that anymore, because you know, you're lucky that it didn't cause an accident to someone else. And it has serious consequences because now Eli lives with seizures, and he has quite a few seizures, or it's mentioned that he's had quite a few seizures throughout the book. And his service dog Hawk is just absolutely precious, and I love the discussion around that. So like, it was great, it was diverse, it had a lot of representation in here. I just think some of the pacing, and I mean, it's a fictional story and it's a young adult story, so we're sensationalizing a little bit, but definitely worth a read. Definitely a 4-star read, but not a 5-star. So that means we are continuing our hunt for a 5-star hockey romance. So I don't know if I'm going to read another one tonight, but we'll pick the next one anyway. Pick a number between 1 and 71. 51. It's called Totally Pucked by Paris Winters. No idea what that is. Alright, so I'm going to DNF Totally Pucked because I don't like the hero, and that's at 8% of the way into the book. I think the author is going for the bad boy thing, and I just, if you can't do it and make me like the character in the first couple of chapters, then I'm not going to read it, because I'm sure he gets a redemption arc, I'm sure he's lovely, but didn't hook me in the first couple of chapters. So yeah, no. This is what we want. We want to move through these books. Is there something wrong with me that I'm excited about DNFing books? I don't know. Choose a number between 1 and 71. 42. Something called Hockey Heartthrob. Don't know what that is. Can't even see the cover. Oh, okay. I think this is an anthology. This could be interesting. Okay. I think this is the equivalent of a 500-page book. I know it's an anthology, but maybe I will exclude anthologies. This is my little reading experiment. I can do what I like with it. Choose a number between 1 and 71. 56. So instead we are going to go with Healthy Scratch. This is by Robin M. Ryan. Okie dokie. let's try this one. Is it too much to ask for a book that has a really good hook in the first chapter instead of something that just turns me off completely? Apparently it is. That one's a DNF as well. I just didn't like the way it started. You know, some things in life are true about books. They might tell you that you can't judge a book by its cover. You absolutely should judge a book by its cover, because that's why people are employed to make book covers. That's their job. It's there to hook you into the story. Same thing goes for the first chapter of a book. If you get to the end of it and you're like, yeah, why would I want to read the book? Okay, so I have taken off all of the DNFs. Actually, no, I need to take that last one off because I haven't taken that one off yet. Where'd it go? Oh my god, where'd it go? Right, goodbye. You don't need to be on here anymore. So now I have, and I also found a couple of books that I've actually already read. So I've just moved them out of the folder. So I've taken off all of my DNFs and moved the things that I've read. So now there are 64 books in the folder. Choose a number between 1 and 64. 45. Did we just get 40? Whatever. 45. Pucking My Fake Fiance. Okay. Who's this one by? Livy Stone. I hope this is just a really bonkers fake fiance, fake dating story. I will just take bonkers at this point. And another one bites the dust. But I did get 30% of the way into this one before calling it quits. So essentially the start of this, it's a small town brother's best friend, bad boy of hockey, fake marriage story. Max and Hayley had a one-night stand 10 years ago when they were graduating from high school, and he left very unceremoniously at the end, and she's been harboring a grudge for 10 years. So straight away that was a bit of a red flag. Anyway, he comes back to town because he's got into a bit of media trouble and he needs to rehab his image, and his agent thinks that hanging out in the small wholesome town where he grew up will, you know, help that out. Anyway, the first time that they see each other again is at her brother's bar, and she throws her drink at him. After a couple of exchanges, like it's not just a throw the drink at him sort of situation for no reason. And he doesn't quite understand it, but for some reason it gives him the idea that she would be perfect for a fake marriage. There's a few leaps in here, and look, while I don't agree with her holding a grudge for 10 years, I also don't understand why he doesn't realize that she might be just a little bit upset. While this has all the hallmarks of a story that I could like it would be a maximum of 3 stars, not a minimum, possibly a 2.5. So according to my own rules, we are saying goodbye to this one, and I need to go to bed, but let's pick the next book before we do that so that we have something for tomorrow. Choose the number between 1 and 64. Okay, book number 2, Secret Puck by Rebecca Jenchek. Okay, that will be tomorrow's experiment, and we'll see how we go. Hi everyone, so I'm 44% of the way into Secret Puck by Rebecca Jenchek, and it is not terrible, but I am bored to tears. Which is weird to say, because if I was bored, it should be terrible, but it's not. Like, it's very readable. It's a college hockey romance, and it is a friends to lovers, brothers, friend, forbidden story. So our main character Ginny is the sister of the captain of the college hockey team, and Heath is one of the players on the team. He's been drafted to Arizona, but is playing college for the next 3 years. The two of them meet after Ginny has a breakup with her high school boyfriend. She's just started college and her boyfriend doesn't want to do long distance. So she's kind of sworn off men. And so he kind of gets friend zoned. And the thing is, Heath is really sweet. And the first part of the story is literally just them becoming friends, even though they both like each other. And now they've just sort of started the secret part of their relationship. But I don't care. I don't care enough. Like, that's been the last 10% of the story, and I just, like, I know exactly how this is going to play out, probably, because her brother's going to find out, there's going to be a big blow up, and it's going to annoy me. So no matter how nice of a guy Heath is, and no matter how easy to read the book is, I just think I'm going to have to pass on this one. I'm just bored. Time to keep moving, because we are on the hunt for a 5-star read. Not a boring read. Choose a number between 1 and 64. 17, one of my favorite numbers. Take the Shot by Danica Flynn. Let's try this one. So is the definition of an insanity doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? Because I am 58% of the way through, I don't even remember what this one is called, Take the Shot. And look, I could probably keep reading it. But again, I'm getting bored because nothing is happening. Ostensibly, the writing in this one is actually worse than the previous one, but the first part of the book, like, things move fairly quickly. So this is an age gap neighbors slash best friends to lovers story. Dina's husband has passed away 2 years prior to the start of this book, and she also had a miscarriage and sort of very severe traumatic near-death experience as a result of that. And that's mentioned, but it's kind of mentioned just like it's just mentioned instead of sort of delving into it, which is fine, but be aware of that if you do read the book. And Noah is her next door neighbor, and he is a 22-year-old hockey player. She's 30, and he lives with his roommate and teammate, and they're good friends with Dina, and he happened to be the one to find her after her husband's death when she had the miscarriage and basically got her to hospital and saved her life. And he has been in love with her for ages, and no one told her. And he like all of his friends are egging him on and telling him, you've just got to, you know, it's 2 years later now, you've just got to tell her, because this moping around is not helping anyone. And so like it's all very good natured, like it's actually a very good natured book. The writing can definitely use some work. There's a lot of capitalization for stuff, which is a bugbear of mine. Oh my gosh, like I don't mind it being used sporadically to enhance the text. Like it's a writing tool, but it's a lot. And I just feel like that where we are in the story should be done now. Like they're together. Like I don't know what the third act would be, and I don't think it would justify the story. Like this could be, I think it's like 250 pages or something like that, but it could probably be like a 150-page novella. Okay, hi guys. It's a couple of days later. I felt like we needed to take a bit of a break from whatever chaos energy monster thing that I had going on the weekend. Illness update, I still feel totally fine. I just sound like I'm still sick. I can't do much about that. So I have gone through, I have updated the folder. So now I've got 62 books in the folder, which is great. That means 10 books are gone from there, just over. So we are going to try a book this morning. It is 7:30. I'm up ridiculously early. It's been raining all night. You might be able to hear it in the background. Like, this is my absolute favorite kind of weather. And because it's so wet and because I'm still not 100%, I'm definitely not going anywhere. I do have another book I want to read today that's not for this vlog, but I want to see if I can sneak in a hockey romance as well. So we'll see if the random number generator gods are going to be good to me today. Choose a number between 1 and 62. 36. Is this another anthology? It says Merry Hockey Holidays. I wonder if that's an anthology. Oh no, it's not. It's by Stephanie Julian. I know nothing about this. It'll be a Christmas one. Let's just read a Christmas book in January, in April. It's April, not January. Oh look, here you go. Here's the cover. I suspect the Chaos Monster has not left. So this was actually 2 novellas set in a series, and they're second chance romance novellas about 2 players who play on an AHL team. Anyway, it was just, yeah. So far my bad luck streak is continuing. So I didn't finish the first story, which was The Playboy, which was a second chance romance between a player and the girl that he left behind a year earlier because he got called up to the NHL. So yeah, no. And then the second one was The Christmas Comeback Kid, which is Emma and Nick's story. I did finish this one, and they were friends in high school. She was tutoring him. He has been playing for the AHL, and she's ended up at college in the same area where he's playing, but she didn't tell him because she didn't think that he thought of her that way. And anyway, they reconnect and they have their moment. And there was an entirely unnecessary drama with her mother that was shoehorned in that didn't need to be there. So, I mean, it's a novella. It's a Christmas novella. Like, it just, sometimes you don't have to make it more meaningful than it is. And maybe it's wrong of me to say that, but sometimes you can just write the novella. Just do it without the drama. So I'm still searching for a good hockey romance. Oh my gosh. All right. I don't know if I'm going to read another one today, but let's just pick the number anyway. Choose a number between 1 and 62. 58. We're finally going to read The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. Okie dokie. So just for those playing at home, I DNF'd the first book in the series, which is Behind the Net. I think it's the first book in the series, which sucks. I actually really like the front covers of these. I know we've talked about my thing about covers. But I genuinely like the cover art. Like, the cover art gives me hope for the book, but I have been burnt before. So I will check in when I have read The Fake Out. So it's a few days later. I finally read The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer, and it's a solid 4. So we're getting better, but not quite a 5-star read. And that's probably because it's about 100 pages too long. Like, it's really hard to please me, guys, honestly. I'm sorry, I'm gonna play with the jumper because I can't decide whether I'm hot or cold because we're in that weird in-between weather. The Fake Out was fun, much better than I remember the start of Behind the Net being, because I DNF'd that one. But this is a fake dating situation. So Rory plays for the Vancouver Storm. He is a giant golden retriever who just is head over heels for Hazel, and Hazel is a physiotherapist on the team. I don't think she's actually his physiotherapist. Her ex-boyfriend who cheated on her gets traded to the team, and in order to just sort of get on his nerves, she tells her ex-boyfriend that she's dating Rory, and the two go along with this fake dating ruse. And of course, eventually real feelings develop, and there's a lot of forced proximity and things like that. He is an absolute golden retriever of a hero, and it's very, very sweet. And he just likes to buy her very expensive stuff. And hallelujah, she lets him. Like, she argues about it initially, but she lets him buy her things, which he makes more money than God. So yes, please, for the love of God, let him buy you things. Like, just go with it. I think I've said before, like, this is just one of those things that we don't need people going, oh no, you can't buy that for me. He wants to buy it. Let him buy it for you. I suppose the thing I liked most about this is they have a very antagonistic relationship. Like, their banter is great because they just poke and pick at each other, and it's not malicious in any way, but it's just really good banter. This is a vast improvement over some of the other books that we've been reading. Now, I can't remember how many books are now in my hockey folder, and that's because I found some that I hadn't included in the folder, so I think the number might have gone up. Okay, we're back up to 65. 64 if we don't include this book, but I haven't taken it out yet, so we'll just go with it. Choose a number between 1 and 65. 26. Hooked by Lynn Stevens. All right, and that one was a quick DNF. I'm just not all that interested in it, to be honest. It's only 79 pages. I got like 17 pages in. So I almost got a quarter of the way through. I just don't care. So from what I gather, this is about Grace and Nolan. They were friends in high school. They just maybe moved into something more, and then Grace left with no notice, no warning, no whatever. Apparently the synopsis says her dark past. So surely something has gone on there. I just don't care. But that's fine. Let's just keep going. The whole point is to get these books down and find a 5-star. Choose a number between 1 and 65. 32. Timely Assist. Oh, so this is one I got through the Hockey Romance Club. So it's Robin M. Ryan. Tampa Suns Hockey Romance. I shall update you shortly. Had such high hopes. Like, this one sounded great. Single mum, hockey player, blah, blah, blah. I don't like the writing. It's very formulaic, and I just got introduced to like 10 different characters that are probably not going to be crucial to the story, and it was just very ordinary. So we'll pass on that one too. Let's do this again. I'm probably not going to read the next one today, but I'll pick it now because, again, I'm still in the middle of multiple vlogs, because of course I am. Pick a number between 1 and 65. 23. The Forward Line by K.G. Aaron. Why are all these books over 400 pages long? That is unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. Hi everyone, it's been a little while since I have updated this particular vlog, and I finally started The Forward Line. I can't remember who it's by. Oh my gosh. K.G. Aaron. And as it turns out, it is a college why choose romance. And I'm a couple of chapters in, and honestly, I don't think I'm here for this drama. And even though I'm not that far into it, you have the women's hockey team, which has been completely disbanded, and the coach didn't bother telling the team until the start of the season, which basically leaves the female protagonist of this story, who relies on a sports scholarship, with nothing. So straight away, don't like that drama. And then the 3 guys that I think are going to be involved in this relationship are part of the men's hockey team. I can already see the tropes. There's the one who's failing the class, there's the sweetheart, and then there's the asshole. So I'm not here for that. If they were older, I could probably handle it, but it's going to have too much new adult drama that I just don't really want to deal with. And because I was fully prepared to give all of that a go, I'm not prepared to switch books yet. So give me a second. I am going to find my hockey books that I can do this. So essentially what I've decided is we have today and we have till the end of tomorrow before I go back to work for the term. That way I can include some hockey footage because there's a hockey game tomorrow, but I'm not dragging this out anymore because, well, we'll see how I go. If I really can't get to a 5-star read, I'll reevaluate. But if they don't come up in my random number generator, I have 2 potential 5-star reads. Actually, no, I have 3 potential 5-star reads. So we'll see how we go. All right, what number are we up to now? Choose a number between 1 and 62. 41. Another Charge by Alexa Paget. I'm probably going to pass on this one as well. Not necessarily because I think it's going to be a bad book, but it is a single dad, well, single uncle, who
gets custody of the 8-year-old niece that he didn't know existed after her mother dies from COVID. And it will be the relationship between the uncle and the nanny. This is the thing with kids, like some authors write really well done kids who come across as the age that they're supposed to be, and I'm just not getting that feeling from this. And obviously this child is going to have a huge amount of trauma and whatnot in their background, but yeah, I'm not overly impressed with how the kid has been written so far. So I think we're just going to move on. Choose a number between 1 and 62. 47. The Wedding Winger. This is by Delancey Stewart. That's some food. I'm gonna go take that out of the oven and then I'll start this book. Is this where I start singing? This is the vlog that never ends. We are down another one, just not vibing with it. I guess The Wedding Winger has potential. I just don't think it's going to have enough potential for me to want to read it. That's why we're stopping. It is, from what I read, a NHL player who plays for a team called the Wombats, which, I mean, I should want to read that, right? It's called the Wombats. Like, who calls their team the Wombats? Anyway, it's the off season and his brother is getting married and he is asked to come home and see his family before the wedding. The female protagonist of the story is going to be his childhood next door neighbor who has grown up and has been married and is divorced and has a daughter. Yeah, I didn't really like their interactions at the start because it said that, you know, Clara, the female protagonist, had a crush on him growing up, and she is weirdly antagonistic towards him in the first couple of chapters where they're together. Like, weirdly so. Like, I don't expect them to be perfect, but there's actually no reason for her to be as antagonistic as she is being. And he is also not being great, so this isn't a one-sided thing. Like, there's no reason for it, so choose a number between 1 and 60. 7. Okay, we can do 7. Number 7 on the list is Big Puck Energy by Elise Faber. I have read Elise Faber before, so I'm optimistic. All right, so I have finished Big Puck Energy after I finished watching the Melbourne Ice and the Brisbane Lightning game. Melbourne Ice did win. They are looking like a much better team this year. I haven't seen my team play yet. They don't play till tomorrow, so I don't know how we're going to go up against them because we'll have 4 games against Melbourne Ice this year. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, Brisbane didn't have a very good game. So I'm hoping that means that we have a good game tomorrow. As I said, I finished Big Puck Energy. It is a solidly readable book. It does lose points because it was published in 2022 and it has a couple of HP references in there, but it also, you know, kind of gets points for having Star Trek references because I very rarely see Star Trek references in a romance book, let alone a hockey romance book. So the story is about Axel, who plays in the, I'm assuming it's the AHL, and he is the bad boy. The town that sort of sponsors the team, he has a tendency to go out, party hard, trash the place, and basically the mayor of the town, who is sort of like this pseudo third character slash introductory narrator that we get in the story, has had enough, and she essentially basically tells him to get his act together. But this is after she handcuffs him naked to the porch of her niece's ranch. Still haven't quite got to the bottom of this. This is the first book in a trilogy for the same couple. So Bailey is our female protagonist. She is running the ranch. It is run down. She is overworked. She is hurting. She has gotten out of a abusive relationship with her ex-husband, and she doesn't have any time for this naked hockey player chained to her porch. So this happens twice. And then the next time they meet is at a bar. They have a one-night stand. Axel gets called up to the Gold, which is the NHL team for his team, the Rush, and he gets some advice from their goalie, who I need to read the Gold series because the goaltender is female, and I know that because it was referenced in the other book that I read by Elise Faber. He gets some advice. He has a really rough relationship with his mother, and so he's internalized a lot of really negative thinking, and he turns his life around. So between Bailey and Britt, he basically cleans up his act. He focuses on hockey. He stops partying, and this causes some issues with the Puck Bunnies, who just are not happy that he's stopped partying. But he and Bailey start to make a go of it, and then he gets called up for a 3-month-long contract with the Gold hockey team in San Francisco, so he has to move away. And yeah, the book does end on a bit of a cliffhanger. Bailey's ex-husband turns back up, and a Puck Bunny has managed to get into Axel's room at the hotel, and so Bailey thinks that he is cheating on her. So it's a little bit dramatic, but it was fun and it was compulsively readable, so I will take that. It's like a solid 3.5. As I said, I want to try and finish this tomorrow, so I have to decide what I'm going to take my risk on being a 5-star. Oh, I haven't put Brooklyn Air in here. that's another potential. So here's what I'm thinking. I have a couple of Kate Meader books. I have In Skate's Trouble and I have Down in Flames, which are both romances. I also have Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, and while I'm not the biggest Elle Kennedy fan at the minute, I know this is a very beloved book, and honestly I think of everything that's sitting in this folder, that is the one that has the potential to be a 5-star. I also have an LA Wit book, but I'm a little bit on the fence about whether or not that will actually hit that mark. It might. I think we'll have to go with Him, because I think that is probably the one holdout on here that I've had for ages that is the most likely to be a 5-star book. So you probably won't see any footage before I get to the hockey tomorrow, and then I'll insert some clips. I get to see the view from my member seats, so that'll be fun. And yeah, and then I'll update you when I get back home tomorrow night. Okay, let's everyone cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. No.
Mustangs, number 5, Jack Baker, 2 minutes on the trip, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
I am back. I went to the hockey today, first game. Yay, Mustangs won. That's really good. We also had the banner unfurling for the championship banner for last year, so I think I've got a clip of that I would have inserted. I got some really basic stuff, like footage at the game. I was honestly just watching the play most of the time, and it's really funny because when I bought my membership, I bought memberships for me and 2 extra ones which are in the names of my parents, knowing full well that Mum wasn't planning on coming to every game. Like she's not going to come to all 13 games. We got to the end of the game and she's like, we were talking about when the next game was, and it's next Saturday. She's like, oh, don't think we're doing anything next Saturday. So I think Mum might be coming to more games than she thought she was. Anyway, our seats are really good. We're actually right up the back, but up the back is like we only have rows A to M, so we're in the M row, which actually gives us a really clear view of the ice. So we're not really that far away at all. You can hear everything that they're saying on the ice. So very good seats, very happy with that. I did wear all of my bracelets. When we got there, I picked up a couple of stickers because I don't have a Mustangs logo sticker, and then well, they didn't have the championship stickers when I did my championship hoodie order, so I got one of the championship stickers for last year. And then this year they are doing player cards, or like trading cards for each game. Like you can get them signed after the game, but I don't stick around that long to get anything signed. Every game 2 of the player cards are released. They're also doing like an interview series online with people, with the players that are on the cards for that week, which I think is kind of cool. So I got my first 2 cards. Bradley Apps and Matheson Graham, 2 of our New Zealand players. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool that they've got those photos, they've got a couple of stats about the players, and then a space to get them signed on the back. So I will be collecting those. But anyway, while I was on the train going into the city, I did start Him by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. It's really good so far. Like I'm deeply engrossed. I'm about 30-something% into it. Or am I up to? 32%. So it is Wes and Jamie, and they were best friends when they were going through sort of high school and high school hockey camp type things. Wes knows that he's gay, and Jamie, as far as Wes is aware, isn't. And so they have this dare, and they have sort of this one moment, and then Wes is freaked out that Jamie is going to freak out after it, and so he basically ghosts him. And then they go to college and they don't speak for 4 years. Now they've both graduated college, they've both got contracts for teams post-college life, and in the summer break between their last college game and starting with the NHL, they're both coaching at the same camp that they were at when they were younger players. And they're kind of having conversations around what happened. And Wes is kind of freaking out that Jamie is very chill about it. In fact, Jamie is more annoyed that Wes ghosted him than about the fact that Wes is gay. Like, he doesn't care. So I'm going to keep reading, but I have a good feeling about this one. If it's not a 5, it's going to be like a 4.5, and I will call that good. It's going to have to do something pretty drastic for me to not like this book, I think. All right, so I finished him. It was great. Like, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed myself, because even with a third act breakup, it was actually so low angst and just delightful that these two characters figured out their relationship and did it in a way that made sense for them. I also like stories where you have, particularly in hockey romance, where you have two characters who are good enough to go pro, and then you have one character who turns around and goes, well, I don't actually know if this is what I really want. Yes, I've been working towards it, but now that it's here, is this something that I actually want to pursue? Or is there another option that lets me keep playing hockey and doing what I love, but in a way that I want to do it? And I like that we have that in there, and I like that that is an option that is explored. I know there's a sequel and that deals with, I'm assuming, their relationship going public. And in this case, Wes's contract with his NHL team, the team knows that he's gay. He's not out publicly, but he and Jamie, by the end of the book, have moved in together. So he's let them know this is a thing, this could come out, blah, blah, blah. And they go, we're already prepared for it. We've got everything ready to go. So it's not a big deal. You know, having read the book, I don't feel compelled to read the sequel. I don't think you need to. I think it's nice that there is one, and I like the characters, and at some point I probably will read the sequel, just because I think they're both very adorable characters, but it's not something that I feel like I have to rush and pick up right now because the story isn't complete. The story is complete. And sure, there are some things that we probably could have got more detail on, like Wes's family, because they're just, you know, fairly absent in his life. But by contrast, we have Jamie's family, who are just absolutely lovely and just totally chaotic because he's the youngest of 6. It was a nice time. And sometimes that's just what you want. You just want to have a book that is enjoyable and easy to read, and that's what I got with this one. So basically what it pays to have in your back pocket when you are doing one of these reading until I get a 5-star is actually having a backup book that you know you would give 5 stars to. That said, we are now at the end of this vlog, and I bet I'm gonna have a great time trying to edit this thing. But for those who are interested, we are now officially down to 58 unread hockey books in my unread hockey romance folder on Kindle. I did go through again, I think last night, and just sort of read some summaries and things like that about a few books that I just had question marks about. So I think I cleared a couple of books. Actually, no, I don't think, oh, did I? I can't remember. Now the hockey season has started, I'm pretty sure you can expect to see at least one hockey romance book in every weekly wrap up from now until the end of the year. I've certainly got enough of them to do that. So maybe that's just new project number whatever I'm up to in terms of my monthly resets. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It was chaotic and honestly fun. Like, sometimes it is just nice to go through and be totally brutal with what you're reading and just go and start something and then make a decision about whether or not you want to keep reading it, because I think it's a really good way to set the standards for what you want to read. And before anyone tells me that it's, you know, you need to give books a chance, you don't owe books anything. If you start something and it's not working for you, you don't owe it anything. And just because that book didn't work for me does not mean it will not work for other people. It's okay to be ruthless with your reading. And it's been such a long time since I started this vlog, I can't actually remember how many books I started with. I'm pretty sure it was something like 75. So we're now down to 58. That's a pretty good reduction in books. So there's a method to my madness, I think. Thank you very much for watching. If you got all the way through this, well done to you. Thanks for sticking with me. Feel free to have a chat about any of the books down below, or if you have any other hockey romance recommendations that you think need to be on my radar, feel free to let me know as well. Otherwise, if you just want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave any kind of hockey emoji down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.